What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Let's get ready to rumble. Okay. I know it was just.
You do this to me every time we get a hype intro.
It was just. I'm sorry.
Just let me.
Usually when you're doing something,
point, this is what you should expect.
It be your own friends. That's all I have to say. Your own friends just leave you out like this.
30 seconds of the podcast to hear how the intro goes and doesn't go, then I turn it off.
Nah,
I love it.
Every time. We're losing listeners. We're losing listeners off our intro daily.
Okay, let's get back. We're losing focus. Everybody, welcome back to another special episode of Nights at the Round Table. Battle of the Sexes finale. We had a longer title for it, but I just refuse to get into that. Coley has been in the lab for like 20 minutes trying to figure out what she's gonna call this. Excuse me, 2 days.
Yeah.
So
it's a Shakespearean novel.
I'm actually gonna let her take over because she can say the title a whole lot better. But before we do that, who is all over here?
Welcome.
You know what? If you can see what we got going on right now, it's like a gang in here. We are like sitting on top of each other. I'm gonna just do the roll call. Coley.
What up, though? It's me, baby.
And returning back from one of the previous episodes, Miss Juice.
Hey, y'all.
And also returning back from previous episode, Miss Nikki, baby.
Hey, hey.
Naji, welcome back.
What up, niggas?
And of course, not to be left out, other special guest, happy homecoming, Mr. Boos.
Yeah, shout out to all my JCSU listeners out there. I am here.
Here we go.
I am here, baby. I am here.
Year one.
So look, 2 weeks ago, the guys had our say on the almost like the next to last round for the Battle of the Sexes. We talked about some good things. It was a great episode. We had some controversial stuff to say, but the ladies are here now to rebut that, and then we're going to go into our last few topics. But Coley, I'm going to let you lead that off. Go ahead.
Oh, welcome everyone to the Roundtable Red Room Rumble Royale.
Wow.
There it is. That's what's up. I was told that I'm to tell everyone what we're drinking on because I have poisoned everyone except for Miss Nikki baby. So she is safe. The children are safe tomorrow. But we are all drinking on 1800 with apparently a splash of Sprite. That's my fault, y'all.
And cocaine. Don't forget the cocaine.
Don't forget that.
And Broken Dreams. It's not good. I did a bad thing with that. That was my fault. We back out here, y'all, for this final round. But before we get into the mess, the ladies and I do have a few responses from the gentleman's boys' night out 2 weeks ago. First thing, shout out. I'm so glad you came. I'm glad it worked out that you're here.
I'm glad you invited me back because, after listening to it myself, I was like, yeah, they probably won't be having you back again.
You wild, bruh.
Yeah.
Nah, you were just being yourself. It's fine.
Oh, absolutely. I don't take back anything that I said because it was it was absolute truth, and I was just being myself. But once again, I was just listening to it like, yeah, that's probably not going to get you brought home to mom and dad.
You don't want that, bro. Unless a weave is
that's
on
not what I want.
But yes, Boost, you gave us a great laugh and a great look into maybe what some niggas out there are thinking. So we thank you for your straight ass nigga opinion.
What I'm going to also say is, I'm my nice friend. By the way,
you're the nice friend.
You're the nice one.
I think I can agree
so
with
there's
that.
some way worse
friends. You could probably agree with that also.
Yes.
Shout out to the other friend.
Yes.
Damn.
That's probably true. So one of the things that we want to comment on was you and your partner, you meet like the best person ever, and you guys are sexually incompatible. Thoughts? Ms. Nikki
I think
Davis,
for me,
thoughts.
I almost felt like all of those responses were kind of BS because I feel like most people focus so hard on their chemistry, and if it's not there, you're really kind of just like faking it at that point. So I was intrigued by hearing that they were willing to like go through with and like continue.
Yes.
When we know that if you're not planning on dating somebody and you hook up and it was terrible, you're ready to be out the door in 2 seconds. But now all of a sudden, your personality is like making you think again.
So important.
I just don't. Can we just give some context? I don't even remember what I said. And if I don't remember what I said, I'm sure that the listeners in podcast world may not remember either. Can you guys give a brief synopsis?
What we heard is that you guys were willing to deal to a certain extent,
yes,
with some sexual incompatibility if the mood and the vibe was right.
And I think Boost at one point said something on that you were willing to like teach, and you were going to give like 1 or 2 chances. And if they can't learn it doesn't get any better, then you were going to have to like reevaluate.
Yeah, I think same with Naji here. I don't really remember exactly what I said.
Y'all were hitting the sauce.
Right.
But you saying that again, that does, yes, I do still feel that way though overall. So again, I obviously did say something like that because it is how I do kind of feel. I will give you multiple chances, I guess you would say 2 or 3, whatever that may be, to try to get it together just because, again, I know it's more than supposed to be about than sex. Now, if we're in this for just, if this is a situationship, you know what I'm saying, one of those, then that's different. But if it's somebody that I'm trying to date, I'm open to the chance of seeing if it can become better because for all I don't really know, you probably lied to me about your partners and everything too, so I don't really know how many people you slept with.
What does that have to do with how well you guys are together in bed?
The point I'm trying to make with that is you probably lied, so I really don't know how much experience you really have. Is what I'm saying. That's the point I'm trying to make. But is that you might have a lot of experience, or you really might not have none.
What really does the amount of experience you have to do with your chemistry together?
I mean, I think that's what...
That's assuming that the other person has more experience and therefore would need someone else to have equal or greater experience.
Okay.
Right?
That's valid.
Yes.
All right, cool.
I was thinking more the compatibility as far as like you both equally have been with X number of partners. Mm-hmm. You guys are great. Like you vibe and then you have sex and it's awful. Because you guys just can't get it together. Like you're not feeling each other. Like you don't know how to read each other.
Yes.
I got you.
I'll jump in. I don't exactly remember what I said as well, but I believe we were talking about there was a difference between before you start the relationship and if you have sex, that's not going to work. If you, it's not going to work at all.
Different phases to
right.
Yes.
But if you're in the middle of sex and say you are in the middle of a relationship and you're wanting to try to do different things, or they've met the threshold that will allow you to move forward in the relationship and the sex is still trash, then that's a problem as well. We might stick it out. It's 2 different phases. I'm getting off the mic.
What did you want to add? You said you wanted to add something.
I was just about to say that niggas love to teach bitches, so they right. They do.
Like,
I mean, there was a time
do we agree
that I didn't know shit,
and
dude stuck with me for 3-4 years because I can teach you and I can turn you into what I want.
Ew,
I mean, that's what they do. If you don't know how to give head, a nigga will teach you how to give head.
It's dangerous though.
If you willing to go through
Are you down to learn? Were you down to learn though? Because that was a question.
Because
I'm a champion now.
At the end of this, Juice will be giving her Instagram and her Google phone number. Cucumbers and eggplants all over the place.
But she will not be at JCSU homecoming.
No, she will not be there.
We will no longer talk about JCSU homecoming for the remainder of this podcast.
That was only 2.
This is Boost signing off on that. Happy homecoming, y'all.
All right, but that was all I wanted to touch on.
Cool,
that.
cool. I'll let y'all have that one. That was pretty solid. We'll move on. Book smarts versus street smarts. I want to personally say that I need, like Boost, a combination of the 2 for myself. As someone who is educated to a certain degree, I would prefer that you do have that experience because it's a shared experience. I think shared experiences are important. But I do know that people can be smart in all different types of ways. We don't have to go to college to have that type of thing. But I think it's nice to say, oh, this is me. I got my master's. My husband has this. We do this. We did all these things. I think it's nice, but it's not necessary. Also, he can't be no bitch. Not a hood booger. Shout out Naji.
What does that have to do with smarts?
What you mean?
Being a bitch and not being
I use bitch as a thing for dumbness, everything, wholeness.
Okay.
He can't be no dumb nigga. Like I don't want that either. Like some dude, like you don't.
No dumb nigga bitch.
Bitch assness. Bitch assness.
And
I don't
street
want that.
smarts.
Oh, wow.
Piece of the street smarts
Correct.
keeps you away from
Your girl is out there changing tires and you don't know how to change tires.
I need you to be able to hold your own in whatever meeting we're going to or whatever function we're going to together. But if all the niggas come over to our house afterwards. We gonna have a good fucking time. But then some shit pop off in there. You good?
Sounded like an orgy was about to happen at the end of that statement.
Well, maybe.
I was like,
oh, yeah, well, baby.
Maybe. Maybe. Because now that we're already married, you won't be able to leave me because I maybe sleep with one of your friends during that time. So it's okay.
Plot twist.
So, mind blown.
Okay.
And
You guys should see the room right
next
now.
topic.
that shit needs to be in the prenup.
Get my treasure to the fuck up.
Wait a minute, but what does sleeping with one of his niggas have to do with street smarts or book smarts?
I just threw that in there because he mentioned an orgy at the house. So
Got
it
you.
has nothing to do with it.
Excuse me.
Content. I was just
And more likely friends would be at the house.
Oh, okay.
For the party that we went to, and then maybe things popped off, but your husband, who is also street smart, can handle himself in fun settings or settings that require street smarts.
So you're looking for a ghost with a little bit more college education? A little more college education?
No.
A little bit more college
What I know
education?
about that young
A little
lady,
less
no.
murders? Like
Well,
less
less
bodies?
murders.
Less murders.
Yeah.
Less murder.
More degrees, less
infidelity.
bodies?
Ghost
Gotcha.
as far as
Right. There's nothing really
Kind of a
good
ghost,
about
more
ghosts at
degrees,
all.
less bodies. It makes sense.
Comments, ladies, book smarts, street smarts.
I agree with the balance. I mean, I think I've dated both. And if it's one-sided, you're going to make me feel like I'm bored. But then on the other side, I need you to be able to...
The question was, here's what I'm not understanding. The question was, do you want either book smarts?
I said a balance.
Or it's not a balance. You can't run down the middle and say, I want the best of both worlds.
She said it too.
I know, and I was going to tell her about that too.
Oh.
But
Who said a balance?
if you had a choice, well, first off, when he first started, he said,
Who said he wanted a girl that had street smarts?
No. He said book
I
smarts.
said book smarts.
And then later
I
on, we
truly,
clarified.
a little finesse on her,
But originally, we all took a stand. So for y'all, is it going to be book smarts or street smarts?
Book.
I'm going to say streets. If I had to choose, since apparently I do,
Yes.
I'm going to...
That's what the bowl says.
No, because listen, we're gonna go with like Hood Booger Light.
Hood Booger Light.
Adjacent. Maybe your friends are Hood Booger and you learned a couple of things from them.
And he went to community college. So he's good.
But not straight.
Like you said, hood adjacent.
Hood adjacent, but we're not doing like full
He
fledged.
grew up around the corner from all the hood.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
But he lived in the house when they lived in the projects.
Exactly.
Maybe
had both parents. I don't know.
Both parents was living there. He just walked over. It was like a 3-minute walk past the corner store.
So if I had to choose, that's what I'm choosing.
Fantastic. Juice?
Well, I'm in the minority, apparently, because I didn't go to college, so...
But you got... But you
well,
got
okay,
plenty.
wait. For me, book smarts don't necessarily mean you went to school. Like, can you read?
Agreed.
So,
Agreed.
There's that. But I would prefer street smarts just for the sake of... I mean, you got to know how to navigate out in these streets. Yes. And that doesn't make you hood.
Social
because
cues.
there's a lot of airheads that are smart. I work with them every damn day, and they get paid lots of money that they don't deserve. So, I would prefer street. Plus, I don't need somebody thinking they extra smart. Y'all using big words for no fucking reason. Like, relax.
You just being extra.
Relax. Like, nah. So street all day.
That's what's up. Good shit. Thank you, ladies, for chiming in on that. The boys did have some very cool topics the last time, but for the sake of time and shenanigans, because I think we've got some pretty solid stuff left in the bowl. At least I hope so. We're going to move on. Out there in Pod World, if you hear shenanigans out here, we're down here with also the Canine Royale is happening. Our dogs are here. Y'all are used to hearing Rizzo. We have another guest, and he is very upset. So if y'all hear things that don't sound right, just turn your volume down real quick. We're gonna move on to the bowl. Who wants to control the bowl this time?
Well, we always let our guests control the bowl, so it'd be either between Boost or Juice or Miss Nikki Baby.
Or Miss Nikki Baby.
I've already controlled the bowl.
All right, Juice, you got the bowl.
I've controlled the bowl as well.
Y'all so extra.
You got the bowl.
We take care of our guests on the podcast. This is what we do.
Get ready for the one, the only, the Round Table Red Room Roy and Bro. Blah, 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 blah. Oh man.
From the top. Take from the top.
Can we edit that out?
We can edit that
I will edit it out. I will edit it out.
Let's edit it out.
Edit
What are you
what?
editing it out?
Because she fucked up.
I didn't even notice.
What'd you say?
Huh? if he hadn't said shit. Listen, I'm disappointed in this damn fucking. Ooh, I don't like this piece of paper right now.
Let the rumble begin. Go ahead.
Men/women with multiple friends of the opposite sex, and I'll start this out. I don't really know the context of this piece of paper.
How do you feel?
Put your own context.
How do you feel about it?
Okay, me personally, I don't give a fuck. I'm 30. I expect you to know bitches, and I expect you to be friends with them. Like, and I speak so harshly on this because I had a situation in my most recent relationship where he don't like my nigga friends, and it's a hard thing to navigate because, like, I love you, you my nigga, but those are my niggas. Like, I have a little bit, not necessarily more loyalty, but you might leave.
Yeah.
Them niggas ain't never left. Through all the niggas I've been through, they still got my back. So, like, I can keep my dick in my pants. I don't understand the big deal. Like, cause it's usually a trust or insecure issue. So for me, if you're gonna embarrass me, you're gonna do it whether I know about your friends or not. So
what about your friends?
That's me.
I agree with you to an extent. There needs to be a limit on the number of opposite sex. I'm serious. No. It needs to be a limit only because first off, everybody ain't your friend. I refuse to believe that you got 8 or 9 niggas that's your best friends. that's holding you down.
Wait a minute though. But see, that's circumstantial because a lot of times, depending on who you are, like for example, we all know each other because of Nicole per se. Which means that I can be cool with Nikki, I can be cool with you, I can be cool with Naji, and I can be cool with Boost. I know all of y'all. If we all develop a relationship over a 10-year span, what you fucking talking about?
you just named out Boost, Naji, and myself. That's 3. Now if you start naming out Frederick, David, Hakeem, Omar, Jillian.
It's a trust thing though. If you don't trust your girl, then you're gonna put a limit on it because you don't trust.
And then aside from that, that's you knowing your partner. Like for me, for example, I grew up in athletics. Ain't a lot of females that do sports. So a lot of people I know are dudes. Why? Because I'm practicing with them. I'm playing with them. I'm doing all types of stuff with them. Ain't no females around. So yeah, those are my homies.
Here's the thing.
It is what it is.
I'm just talking off realism. Everybody is not your damn friend. You can probably count on your whole hand how many close friends that you have. Right. Everybody in the hood that you grew up with was not your friend.
That's fair, but that's not at all what I said. And that's the problem that we be having with y'all niggas. Y'all don't listen.
Ooh.
Yes.
Well, But I'm not trying to.
They gave me a shot, y'all. I'm normally on something else.
But look, I'm not trying to blame it on the Jews. I'm not trying to argue with you on that. I'm just talking about from my standpoint. I don't. If you have like 9 or 10 people that you are listing off saying these are the people that are my close friends, whatever, yada yada, I'm gonna have questions because I know a normal person does not have 10 or 11 close best friends that's of the opposite sex.
But Esquire, if a chick tells you, yo, these are my niggas, these 20 dudes, I rock with them heavy. I ain't fucking none of them. We just really, really cool. And do you then turn around and say, I mean, you sure you're not fucking them? Because then that kind of goes against the whole I don't really care who you fuck. If you confident in who you're dealing with.
I'm not worried about who you fucked. At that point, we were talking about the numbers. I'm worried about, I know that there's somebody in there, like maybe 5 of them 20 are in there trying to get at you.
So what? You don't trust me?
I'm saying I don't trust you. I'm saying I don't trust them.
So what's your number?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it has to be realistic. If you talking about 10 or 11 people.
So wait. So honesty counts for nothing then? Because if I bring these people to you off gate and I tell you these specific people, ain't no more being added to the list. These specific people, these are my family. I've known them 15 years. They not going nowhere. Don't mean I got to be all up on them. Don't mean I got to be with them all the time. It just means that they here. They going to come to the crib. They going to be at my fucking wedding, dog. What's up?
It would just need to be realistic for me. Right. And maybe it's going to be a situation type thing where when I see how y'all interact and all that kind of stuff, we'll go from there. But if you tell me off gate, off jump, or Straight out the gate. What was your thing? Straight
From jump.
From jump.
jump.
If you tell me from jump, hey, I just need to let you know right now. I got like 30 niggas that
So why
I rock with and
so
go
what
from
if
there.
It's like a smooth 5 or 6.
That's. I mean, I guess that's realistic. That's
Who the
fine.
fuck know 20 people for real?
So the whole time,
But there are people out there that's like, oh, you know that person's like a sister to
Esquire or
me.
Juice get to say anything?
I'm sorry.
I've had the exact same conversations before. 'Cause I've had chicks who feel some kind of way because I have a lot of female friends. I have a shit ton of female friends, and I like a lot. So then if someone turns around and says,
How do
"Okay,
you
well,
got a lot?
you can't take the what's your name, Coley? You can't take."
It's fine.
I'm being accosted. Thank you so much, Miss Nikki, baby, for catching my drink. There was a rabid animal running up through the studio. But if some chick is upset with me because I have a lot of female friends and I'm not doing nothing with my female friends, then what's your issue?
What is the question? Close friends or is it just friends in general?
So this is you guys just took it and ran it, and you and I have had this conversation. So Esquire and I consider us to be very tight, but we have no actual type of relationship or past of anything of that nature. But we are super tight. So in the event that one of us meets someone else, it's like, what does my potential boyfriend / husband, whatever, say about the closeness that I have with someone like this to this degree? So when you think about that, like, are you, I mean, I'm sure some of the dudes you have maybe, and you've been around us all this time, so you know what kind of dynamic we have. What does a dude say? Like, if you had met your wife and she had an Esquire, what would you say about that?
I would be perfectly fine with it because it don't make a difference to me. It's like, if you fucking them, that's one thing. If you're not fucking them and y'all just cool. I don't really give a shit. Because on the flip side, like, I have a lot of close females that I'm close to, so I can't sit here and be upset on the other side. But to Esquire's point, if your life isn't modeled around having a shit ton of female friends, whether like you got 35 ride or die female friends, then it makes sense for you to have that particular desire from someone that you partner yourself with. And so I think it's like circumstantial, and it's all about the perspective of the person.
I agree. I was gonna say I definitely do think it is a situational kind of comment, like really kind of based off of like what you've had in your own experience, and that kind of states what you will allow. Because for me, in my standpoint, I mean, I actually have a friend. I completely really agree with Juice in this, and I kind of hate that it's called Battle of the Sexes because I'm like, damn, I really agree with her like 100%. You know, I know it is. You know what I'm saying? But like, I have a friend like that from college. One of my main friends, like a real good friend of mine, and her husband, who actually now she has a husband. I was gonna say that, so she's married. He's a real good friend of ours now, but we come in a pack, you know. So she's a friend of me and all my guys. So we come in a good like 10-fold. So seriously, it's a good 10 of us. So you befriending us, and you befriending 10 guys.
They met at Homecoming 2010.
Yes, we all met at Johnson Smith University. Yeah, but shouts out to JCSU because they all went to Johnson Smith University, including him. But he's a few years older than us, so we didn't know him. You know, but again, you know, girls have different lives. So she knows him. She knew him through the years of school, but we were younger than him, so we didn't know him. But it's about a good 10 of us, and that's her husband to this day, and he's in our group now through her. But that's what I'm saying. He basically, I guess, kind of felt like, you know, I don't care about it. You know, you got guy friends. I'm going to know them. I guess kind of how Esquire was saying, like, let me see how y'all are around each other. Mm-hmm. So he sees us like a genuine brother vibe. And now he's one of our brothers. Like, yeah, exactly. We call him one of our brothers now. Like, we have him in a group text with us and everything. Like, that's our bro, and we love him. Like, that. I can say that. I love her, and I love him. And I grew to love him through her. So I feel like I understand completely because I've been in that, you know?
Let me just break this to y'all. Every relationship, and I haven't been in very many, but everyone I have been in, when we broke up, after the fact, they all told me they were jealous of my male friends. And I asked them why, especially the ones that knew them. And their reasoning is because they love you. And it's like, well, nigga, duh, you love me. Like, I'm not different. I don't put on for them. I don't put on for who I'm with. Like, I'm me. So if I'm me with you and you love me, why wouldn't other people around me love me too? Like, that's a good thing. You know somebody got my back, just like I got their back, just like your best friend might have your back. The problem I have is that a lot of times dudes don't want to meet them. And then they're forming their own opinions based off of absolutely nothing. And that's not fair to me when you can be around us. These people are like-minded. Why you think I'm with you? Like, everybody can be friends, like he said, but you don't want that to happen, and now we got a rough patch because ultimately you don't trust me, and why. So that's how I feel, but I understand all y'all. Go ahead, Coley.
No, I think like what you said in the beginning, Juice, was important. Like we're at the stage that we're at a point where we've lived a lot of life. So for people to expect that we don't have different circles or different types of friends is one, it's super unrealistic. And like the bonds that you have with people like from college, like you said, you've got these young women from college that you've met along the way, and a lot of these dudes you've met at work and all these different environments, at athletic stuff or whatever. Guy friend, you have a best guy friend,
Yes.
So like that's a real thing for you, and you have a lot of female friends as well. So it's like, and they've been with you through a lot of things. Like before you meet this special person, all the rough stuff that you've been through, these people have been there with you. So it's like unrealistic, I think, people to expect that. But at the same time, sometimes it is crazy because you're like, you can't have, like you say, all these people that just like, oh, they ride for you, they love you. Like, are you sure? Or are they like waiting in line, plotting? Is it a thing? They tried, they shot their shot, and it feels weird. I wanted to say there was a young man that a friend of mine met on the met out there in the world, and his Instagram was filled with pictures of him and women, different women, the same type of woman, but they were all different. Mm-hmm. And he said that they were all his friends. I'm out at Crowder's Mountain with my friend, brunch with my friend,
sisters,
church with my friend,
sisters.
And the thing, and my friend fit the bill for all those women. She looked like they did, so he had a type, but they were all his friends. And her issue was, how do I get what do I do? Because I'm like all these women. Am I his friend now too? Like I'm his like work friend, his business friend. Like how do I fit into this if all these women he's collecting and displaying out on Instagram like that? So I think that's when it's weird. Like Esquire said, when it just looks like it's a thing that you're, like gonna have a lot of people around you or whatever, that's when it gets weird. But, everybody's different. Your insecurities are not how people present it if you upfront about it. This is my niggas. That kind of thing. Good topic.
It was. Y'all ready?
Good.
Interracial dating.
Ooh.
I personally don't care.
Is that all it says?
Yeah, that's all it says. I don't know what to do with that. I mean, I don't. Have y'all noticed that interracial tends to be like black and white, and people forget about all the other colors in the rainbow? Like,
right.
Like, and it's funny to me that
that's what's in everyone's forefront. But yes, there are plenty of other options out there. I personally am open to it myself. I will admit that if I see something that I don't like interracially, I will briefly have an issue with it. I don't know, like if I see like soccer mom Karen with her asymmetrical haircut and her her children out here playing sports, and she out here picking up all the kids going to basketball camp, and her husband Gerard, he out here. Actually, no, I'm gonna be real honest with you. A couple weeks ago at church, I was talking to a young lady, and she was telling me about her husband, her daughter. She introduced me to her daughter. Her daughter, I was like, oh, okay, hi, nice to meet you. And I'm thinking in my head, who was her black daddy? And then after service, her black daddy rolled up, fine as a motherfucker. And I was just like, huh. And then you look at the other, the original, the woman, the mother, and I was like, that's so interesting. Like, where was I when this happened? Me and this woman were the same age, and I was just like, when did this happen?
How did I miss the boat?
Where was I at that she was at and we missed it? Like, I don't know.
So
what happened.
You would be okay with interracially dating if you found your white chocolate man?
My white chocolate man? Sure, why not? No, I said in the beginning I don't have an issue with it. It just doesn't seem
not having an issue and actually dating someone of a different race is very different.
I've been with someone of a different race, a white man.
One, I don't have a problem with the racial dating. I see what y'all did there because y'all tried to play me. Because I got it. I caught the two of y'all whispering about me, and that's fine. I don't have an issue with racial dating.
What are you talking about?
I have no issues with it.
Okay.
If it happens and it's open, I'm open for it. I don't want to have to explain everything in the world to you, but I understand that there's a level of that comes with important. Dating someone of a different race. But I'm open to it because why not?
So they need to know that they cannot say nigga.
That should never have to be a conversation.
Is that the race?
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, because interracial is not just black and white.
Right. This is true.
If you're not black, don't say
per minute made.
So therefore, shout out to Jarvis who said more chances, more options, more nuts. So I don't have a problem with it. I embrace it as long as it's not something that I have to like be overworked and deal with. Like you're the oblivious white guy or the weird, or it's a Spanish thing and your people have an issue with like black people, or maybe you're African. I've dated Africans and they mamas didn't like the fact that I was black and not African.
That's also interracial.
Yeah. So there's that.
I think for me, it gets like a little deeper for me because I'm definitely all for interracial dating, and I'm absolutely 100% with it. But I feel weird because I kind of feel like I was groomed to not more or less really interracially date. So now it's kind of me trying to like break the cycle of what I was taught. If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm not gonna lie, like I prefer a black woman, but I also feel like I was raised to prefer a black woman. So I'm cool with interracially dating, but I still, now that I'm in my 30s, it's like I prefer a black girl, but I also again was raised to want a black woman, and now I want a black woman. But I don't mind a Spanish girl or a white girl or any of that. But that's still not what I'm going for when I go for girls, you know? So
I think I fall in the same camp as Boost there. My only thing is when it comes to interracial dating, and I haven't participated in too much of it, it's just black for me.
100% one way?
100% one way. I think the way I look at it is I want you to be true to yourself. I don't want to necessarily be in an interracial relationship where you're with the white chick who acts black or you know, I think, but at the same time, like what you were saying, Coley and Miss Nikki baby, as far as, you know, I shouldn't have to explain the world to you. I want you to have knowledge, but I also want you to stay true to yourself. Like if you're a Latinx chick, then I want you to stay in your culture and do what you got to do. You know, we're different, but I don't want you to be acting black. I don't understand those kind of relationships, but you know, we like what we love.
Is it acting if they technically, because I know a couple white folks who grew up, unfortunately, I hate that this is associated with black folks, but they grew up poor. So
like
they would,
black people poor.
That's all they grew up with, black people.
So they grew up, so say for example, you know, they grew up over you know, by independence or something like
predominantly
that. Predominantly a black
well, there are certain people that you can tell that it's not a thing they're trying to do. You can tell it's who they are, and that's different. So if I see, since we say like we always go to black and white, and that is what it is. We're all black, so the other is white for us a lot of times. So when I see a white woman with a black man, and the white woman appears to be putting on some sort of persona, that's disturbing. Like Esquire said, but if it feels like I have plenty of white people in my life where they just happen to be cool as shit, and maybe they identify with me, or they identify with other black things because that's how they were brought up, and you can tell the difference. And when it's not there, that's when the shit's annoying, because it's like, why did you do that shit? So, now you can date me if that's what you want.
There is a difference.
Sorry, Cole wants a fine black man.
Can I add a caveat to this?
The caveat.
Yo, give Juice more record, bro.
The caveat.
Juice has turned into Minute Maid.
Do y'all ever? I don't know if anybody in here has actually dated outside of their race, but in general, do y'all think about the fetish part of it?
Hell yeah.
They talk about that on I want to say.
Do you feel like that's a bigger factor than what is actually talked about? Because it's not necessarily something I worry about, but I'm more so like, Coley, I don't feel like educating your ass. I'm tired.
For me, the only experiences I've had with interracial dating have been on the fetish tip, and I think that's why I've been very against it, because I'll have someone come up to me and the first thing out of their mouth is, ooh, I've never been with a black girl before. Okay, this conversation is over. Because you're not genuinely coming to me because you might be interested in me. Now it's something that you might want to check off your list. So I think how it's approached, you can tell if it's coming off as a fetish or not. Because there are definitely men who are like intrigued because of the stereotypes, and that's what they're looking for merely because they're enticed by it.
Gotcha.
And the car was about interracial dating specifically, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure. That was it.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes. No, I agree. That's the thing. It's a hindrance, I think, because I would like to. But
I've always been open to it.
No, that's been my experience, but it is what it is.
I've seen that be a thing sexually. I've never known that to be a thing, like in terms of dating.
Well, doesn't it? I mean, does it or does it not start that way? Maybe like because you're looking at someone in a.
But I know that the first time I ever had sex with a white girl, to me it was just like, oh, she just had sex with a white girl. Like, and it was like the most stereotypical nigga fucking a white girl thing you could ever think of. But like,
this is for us.
Exactly. It's like reparations, sexual reparations. But JK guys,
do people think that?
I did at that point.
Think that.
Okay.
No, I said I think that people think that.
Oh yeah.
I have grown
Like
white
vagina
guys.
at a time. Right?
Yeah.
That's how we gonna get our continent back.
This is what my granddaddy.
But when it comes to dating, I've never thought about dating someone specifically because they would fall into like a fetish category. I didn't know that was a thing.
I mean, you never really know you don't know what people are choosing, whatever they choose, what the reasons are for it. But sometimes you hear things, and that people will say about women. Like I've known people who say they choose white women. A family member of mine chose white women because it's easy. That's what I'm choosing. It's easy to deal with. Now flip it around. He's about to marry a non-white. He's marrying a non-white person at this point. But at some point in his life, he was like, "No, I'm choosing white women because it's easy. I'm dating them. I'm choosing them. I'm fucking them. I'm dating them. Whatever. That's what's up." And I'm like, "Huh? Okay, sure. Why not?" You know.
Okay. Another play on this as black men. Do y'all recognize the fact? And again, we're just gonna do black and white. That sometimes it can be more of a rebellion phase for that white girl to be, because we grew up in a Christian school environment.
Yeah, we
and
did.
every time they let one of us in, because it would be one at a time, believe that, they could be dog ugly and all the white girls would be on them immediately. But once they grew up into themselves, it's like, ooh, I can't be bothered with those black things anymore.
That's a fact.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Just a simple fact of, I think D.L. Hughley said that the worst place that you can be is in a white person's imagination.
Yes.
But I believe that there are caricatures of black men that they have, as far as like there's this thug type, or what we say the last time, young bull, Naji. This whole idea of what black men are, they out the hood, bumping trap music or whatever, yada yada, always in trouble with the law. I can believe that is a fetish. I'm going against what daddy wants, and I'm doing this, yada yada, and going from there. So I can agree with that.
Just wondering.
Yeah. I think it kind of comes into when you think about like the classes, really, because that's more of when you're like a privileged white girl. Then you're definitely going to think about it like, oh, I'm doing something that's bad. I'm being rebellious, because everybody goes through the rebellious stage in life. Black, white, no matter what you do. When you were a teenager, you went through some type of rebellion period. So when you're a privileged white girl, fucking a black boy that go to college or high school with you that play basketball or whatever, that is the rebellious thing to do, But when you are the white girl who, like you said, grew up with you like around the corner and whatnot, fucking the black nigga is just normal shit to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
maybe
what
fucking the Puerto Rican boy or the Mexican guy, that might be a little like, oh, now you're rebellion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But fucking the black nigga, that's normal shit. Like, all the white girls live around the corner fucking black niggas.
Okay.
It's mixed babies running around her every day. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all grew up in the hood.
And the statistics are like, by 2050, everything is going to be intermixed anyway.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know if y'all saw that commercial. It came out many, many years ago, but there was some commercial that was talking about like how the president in like 2014, and they were showing like how the election went, and it was like they were showing a Hispanic man winning like the presidency. It was a while back, but it was showing like a Hispanic man. And he was supposed to be like the president at the time, and they were saying it was like 2040 or something like that. It was something wild, but it was a commercial for something I can't remember. But yeah, back to your point though, it just kind of goes in line with that.
Yeah, no, that's what's good. Solid topic.
Cool.
I like it.
All right, so next, relationships where one loves the other more. I don't think I even have a comment.
So earlier today I asked Esquire and Naji. We were shooting through topics. So I think it's like when you're in a relationship, and correct me if I'm getting it wrong.
Okay. You're wrong. No,
okay.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
You get into things, and maybe for one person you're all the way into this person, like that they're your world, they're your everything.
All in from jump. You're all in from jump. And the other person, not that they don't feel strongly for you, but that may not be where they are, but they recognize that it's a place that's good to be in.
So one of you loves the other.
Maybe
more.
they're growing into
yes
where they're trying to get to.
So how does that, like, is that a thing that's okay? And if you are the person who knowingly doesn't feel the same, is that okay?
So I think there's different ways to look at it. So if you're looking at from the jump, it's very, very different because, I mean, if somebody loves you hard from the jump, there's typically going to be someone who's pursuing the other person a little bit more than they're pursuing them back. Mm-hmm. That's kind of just standard. But you would hope that big picture that it kind of starts to even out eventually. But like when you get to the point where you're like deep into a relationship and you guys have cemented that you guys love each other and you're there with this person, it's like they then again, it depends on what you consider love because people consider different things to be love, and you kind of go with it from there. But it may come to a point where you're like, look, you're not giving me what I need to be fulfilled, and that's not okay.
Yeah.
But that also depends on the person. Some people don't know how to require love; they only know how to give it.
That's Naji.
Good
Naji has a book coming out next fall. But the reason I asked that question was, or that I submitted it was, at a homegirl who was at a function for her mom this weekend, and some lady got up there and stood up and said, "Ladies, I'm gonna just tell you this right now. I know you out here looking for men or whatnot, but if you are head over heels in love with your man or with that man, and you find yourself loving him and you just glad to love him and everything like that, you need to let him go. Like you don't need to be out here head over heels." And I guess what she was trying to say was, and I'm only putting words in her mouth, like she didn't clarify from what I was told. She was trying to say, you're head over heels, but if he's not bringing enough to the table, I guess love is not enough in that regard. It's a very convoluted question, it's but she was saying you're just, love ain't enough. You just over here
so
loving
really,
him maximum.
The question is love enough?
No.
I don't know if love is enough, but she was through. I don't know if the question is love is enough, but the way she phrased it was just like, if you finding yourself just being head over heels in love with him like this, you need, instead of looking at other things, then maybe you don't need to be with him.
So Esquire, I know or understand what you're talking about because I've heard this before from women older than me, that basically you want to get a man that's going to love you.
That's your
more.
energy.
And when they say more, you kind of want the dude to be head over heels for you, in the sense that it kind of more so guarantees that, like, in sickness and in health, he will take care of you. He has his eyes set for you. He's concerned about you more so than anything else, blase, blase, blah. Because I think women are more prone to love than men are, I think, personally.
I think that actually causes a bigger issue. Telling someone that you need to find someone that's more into you than you are into them, that's just the reverse of the exact same issue. And I think that's the problem, is that people are coming from this bitter standpoint of, I was hurt, I want to make sure you're not hurt, so to guarantee you're not hurt, let's get you with somebody who has so much love for you could never be hurt. We have to kind of step back from that and look at it from more of a equality standpoint. We need to love the person as much as they require to be loved. And I think that if you do that, that kind of takes the issue off the table of, are you putting out more than what the other person is putting out? Because they're, like, for instance, there's the situation where certain people they're big gift givers. That's how they show their love for you. So they like to buy you shit. You may be a person that's like, I don't really care about all the stuff that they buy me, but I know that means a lot because that's how they're showing me that they love me. But to someone else, it's like, oh, he always buying her stuff. She'll never buy him nothing. She don't love him. And the same, it's like, no.
Love language.
Exactly. It's very, very different. But when people make these very generalized statements to say he need to be more into you than you are into him, that to me is just causing a problem from a different angle.
I agree, actually. I was going to say, this is Boost checking in real quick. I agree with Naji there. Also, I think that it kind of gets, again, a little deeper into it, because I think that the advice, like you were saying, from women older than you, I think that really does come from, a lot of different situations where maybe they've experienced heartbreak, whatnot. But as that gets trickled down and you embed that in these younger girls as they grow up, I kind of think the typical kind of girl now in your 20s, maybe early 30s now, it is more of that man eater kind of mentality, you know, and it kind of comes from what they've been taught, you know what I'm saying? Because men, what they hear is men ain't shit, or the guys that they have given a chance when they were like in high school and whatnot, you know, real young, but you think you're in love. It's kind of like, girl, that nigga ain't shit. So fuck niggas. So now you are 30 and you feel like fuck niggas. So it's just about what they can do for you, and you know, and you have a lot of girls in that mentality now. It's like, get what I can get from this guy and keep it moving. Chew them up and spit them out.
Sometimes sharing your experiences with people who aren't ready to receive it can really be detrimental to their
absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
Or what I've heard is, if they ain't loving me like how my daddy's loving me, then I ain't trying to have nothing to do with it.
That's different. Love.
And that's the thing. It's a different kind of love. First off, I will never be your father.
The whole time your daddy cheating on your mama anyway.
Whoa. Whoa.
Is Boots checking in?
Ray J, are we live?
Charlamagne, are we live?
Are we live? Yeah, wow. You know what?
I said it.
Pull the bowl out.
I said it.
Can I tell you for a second?
Cry 2 tears in a bucket.
But that's really a thing. You know, my dad treats me like this. My dad treats me like this, and I expect to be treated like this. Well, first off, your father's going to love you on a different level. That's a father and daughter relationship. Yep. He wants to protect you, wants the best for you. Although I want the best and want to protect you as well, I can never compete with your father on his love. Essentially, you are an extension of him.
So what about people that got good
dads? Or his girl? It's
like,
different.
Yeah, like what if her father or whatever treated her mother bomb as fuck? They still together.
I have
like,
statements.
Like they like that and shit. And you would be a good example because your parents are still married and stuff too. Mine. So like, what if you've grown up seeing how to love?
So my comment to what you're saying, Esquire, is that it's not love me like my dad. Like I tell anybody, whatever nigga, whoever he is, has a big 10.5 to fill, and not because my dad loves me a certain way, because I've seen my father behave a certain way with my mother, with me and my sister, teach me certain things. So there are things that I know are necessary for me. So it's not about like a love me and my dad share. It's what I've seen my father do with my mother. Yeah. And that's to me, that's a solid example of love that I have, and I've seen other people do it. Juice has parents who have been together as long as she's been alive, or however long. Mine and Miss Nikki's parents have been married the same amount of time. So it's just like they've been married all these years under all these things. So like for me, that's what it looks like. And do I think one loved the other more than the other? I have no idea. But what it looks like is a mutual thing between the two of them. So when we're talking about loving one, someone loves more than the other, I think that comes down to what you yourself have listened to and taken in. As you were saying, people, what these kids are being taught, these young girls are here, what they're taking in and lifting out. I don't give anybody anything that I'm not getting back. Because at this point in my life, I've learned that that's pointless. And when you're young, you might do
necessarily.
that. I mean,
sometimes you have to give a little bit. Someone's got to give a little bit more. If everyone's giving the exact same amount, then there's no benefit to being with someone who gives you the exact same thing you give them. It's a give and a take.
So maybe it's not all the time. Maybe it's like.
But I'm not gonna. I'm talking about like matching energies. So like I can. For me, it doesn't really matter whether it's platonic or romantic. For me, a lot of things are blurred for me. What I have right here sitting around me, we match energies to me. So none of us are romantically involved, but it's the energy that's matched. So I am cool with being a part of these relationships that are here in front of me. So the same for if it's romantic. If I feel like my energy is matched, I'm continuing in this journey. If I feel that maybe something is off here, if it's romantic, I'm going to pause and see, do I need to continue? We can talk about that depending on where we are. I said, where are we? Those where are we discussions? We are farmers, like whatever.
I guess that's
when it's time for that.
Because my whole thing is the energies has to match and or exceed. And at some point, your energy is going to likely exceed the person that you're pursuing,
and that's okay if it exceeds. But if it's matching and exceeding, that's one thing. If it's matching and nothing else is happening extra, then that's a red flag. But a lot of people don't heed the red flag. A lot of people continue going because they feel a certain way, and that's when it becomes different.
Yes. So I agree with all of y'all. I just wanted to throw this in there. When I said that I don't think love is enough, it does come from a reflection of my parents. What I've noticed growing up, they've been married for I'm 30, so they've been married at least 34 years at this point. They like each other. And I think that people like love is cool and all, but I can love you and hate your ass to the fullest. It takes work to continue liking a person, especially when they splash water everywhere in the house and don't clean it up, or they tell you they're gonna do something, take out the trash and it's 3 weeks and it don't mold it. Like, you know, like the like factor, like when I see them interact, like they know each other so well that even their peeves, they can joke about it together at this point, which, I mean, I know their stuff, but the like factor is damn near as equal as the love factor for me personally.
Well, can I clarify with the whole treating me like your dad type situation? First off, when it comes to kids watching their parents, number one thing is two things. When you see that your mom is happy because your dad has obviously figured out your mom's love language. So whether you like and love and all that kind of stuff, because that's whether they're in the perfect scenario. And kids pick up on that kind of energy when they know your dad loves them or whatever, yada yada. And then they take, as long as they ain't in there beating and slapping on you, cussing you out or whatever, they figured it out for you. I think expecting your partner to come in and match whatever love language that your dad figured out for your mom is going to be a little bit different, especially how they show love in a different way to you.
I think it's more so the willingness that women are speaking of rather than do it like this.
Okay.
A lot of times, men are, especially in this day and age, what I found is men are mad cool. And cool meaning I'm not going to show you but so much affection. But you know I love you, though. It's understood. Like, nah, nigga, say that shit out loud. Like, that's what I would prefer. And it's okay because that's what I grew up with. And granted, it may not be your love language, but I'm telling you, hey, I need this part. And if you need something from me, I expect you to tell me that too so we can adapt together.
And you're willing to take him where he is and let him grow into where he needs to be. Okay,
we should always be growing together. Nikki, if we can't grow, then get the fuck on.
Get the fuck on. That's what Ari said.
Ooh.
All right, cool.
So, we moving on?
Next.
Yes.
Let's fight.
All right. That just determined what I was going to pull up. Giving your partner passwords to devices or social media, or your partner demanding them.
Y'all seen Miss Nikki Baby's face.
No.
So no to which part? No to the giving or no to them demanding?
Both.
Both.
No one's going to demand anything from me.
Both of them.
And I'm certainly not going to give them to you.
So okay. So,
is your phone unlocked though?
Miss Nikki, can I have your password?
No.
Can I use your phone?
No.
Damn.
Juice, you sound like you disagreeing a little bit.
But I also have nothing to hide. However, everybody is entitled to have privacy. Now, if it came down to one of those, like, you start freaking out and you're like, I don't trust you. Here's my phone. But it's a matter of you respect that I have my stuff on my phone. You got your stuff on your phone. But if I'm sitting around being very, like, suspect about my social media and things like that, I understand and we can have that conversation. But just because you are in a relationship or dating somebody does not give you the green light to give up passwords. We don't need to have a joint Facebook, a shared Instagram. No, we are separate people. But obviously, like, if there's something that we need to talk about a trust issue, communication issue, then we can talk about it. You don't need to go through my phone. I have been through instances where I have gone through a phone, and I definitely regretted it after. Oh, yeah, like, you can't take that back.
Don't go looking for something you're going to find.
Because you're going to find something.
I want to find that shit so I can get the hell on.
Oh, well.
Get the fuck on.
Granted, I don't go through phones, but I'm saying, like...
But if she did...
But that says more about who I was dating.
Something. Yeah, like,
that I didn't trust them.
But
so I want to date somebody that I can trust.
And I think that's bullshit, too. People always, like, if you go looking for something, you're going to find it.
Why? Because it's there.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That means that people... like, don't care about other people because
No, I think that means that if you feel that you need to go look for something, then you're probably feeling there's something off.
Yes.
And so you can't never be wrong?
Well, no, usually those off things are things that were also out there, too. Those statements are usually made in conjunction with people who had doubt at some point.
Yeah.
Let doubt go. And now later on, they're looking for more things, but it's stemming from the same doubt that you had all along.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not just popping out of nowhere.
Yes.
Because my thing is this: my passwords are pretty much the exact same to everything. So if you know one, you damn near got it all. And that's just how it's all. Username may be a little bit off, but the passwords are pretty much the same. So I don't really give a shit if you have the passwords to my stuff. Now, what you do with that information is something very, very different. Because I can freely give you whatever. Like my phone it'll be locked just for like normal safety precautions.
Right.
But because I can leave my phone around any one of y'all. I don't care if y'all pick it up. I don't care if my wife picks it up. I don't give a shit. I genuinely don't care because there ain't shit in there. However, if I offer something to you just for like safety reasons and something happens to me, you have access to whatever you need to have access to, and then I find out later on that you've been like sneaking while I'm in the shower and going through my phone, that's a very different conversation we need to have. And which is what bothers me on the other side of that question, when people demand to have all your passwords, everything. The fuck?
That's
no, you
crazy.
don't.
Those are your issues from before. They have nothing
And
to do
you
with
need to
me.
deal with it. Now, I do know people who have done things that made the other person feel a way enough to ask for that. I still don't agree with it. I still think that's a measure that's still going too far. But you have at least done something to warrant them having some form of questioned or we're working through trust issues. But if I haven't done anything at all and you're demanding my shit, then we have a bigger problem.
Let me play devil's advocate a little bit.
Always.
That didn't come out as good as I wanted it to. Devil's advocate. What if you are always seeing your significant other on their phone, or they're doing different actions, almost like what you said, with it will kind of warrant that. Like they're always on social media or whatever. They're always, sneaking, laughing, always texting or whatever. Like, hey, do you trust me? Do you fucking trust me? Then let me just do what I gotta do, whatever, yada yada. You don't think at any point someone has the right to say, hey, let me just look and see what you got going on now.
Right? If we
The
date?
right?
Nah, B, but you can ask.
Okay, whether ask or right. You don't think someone would be in the right mindset to want to ask that?
Happen, and he didn't ask for it, but he kind of threw up. You always on your phone, sneaking this, that, and the third, and laughing and giggling. And it's like, bro, all you had to do was fucking ask me. I would have showed you the group chat.
Right.
That's what I think is
Shit's
hilarious.
So you have no problem with them just asking and being like, well, why do you fucking want to see that? Cool.
No,
That's a different question. That's a different question.
Oh, that's just something's clearly funny as fuck. I want to laugh too. Like one of those. I want to be a part of the laugh. It's very different than why you always laughing.
Right. Like to Naji's point, I think it's the reason as to why I felt impelled to mention it or why I felt impelled to say something. You know what I'm saying? Like if I think that you're constantly on your phone or whatever reasons are making me feel like you possibly doing whatever it is that I had to say something about it, then that's what really needs to be discussed. Maybe not what I'm doing per se, but why you felt like I'm doing something. You know what I mean? Because now clearly there's some type of problem inside our relationship,
Right.
or there's something that you're feeling that you want to talk about or we should talk about. So let's talk about that. And if you care enough, then we can have that conversation. Because if you're really not doing anything, then yeah, you might not necessarily give me your password. And I don't know if I would go that far as to want passwords. But I think maybe, like, show me, like, yeah, you're not doing anything. But then again, the conversation of why you even feel the need to, like, even mention that is what needs to be discussed. You know?
Word. I agree with that 1,000.
True that.
All right, so basically what y'all saying is no jealousy over here. No jealousy.
Keep your jealousy.
Keep
to
your
yourself.
jealousy
old,
issue.
Guys, we're too old.
Thank you.
Well, what are you jealous of?
That is a lot of it.
Well, here's the thing for me, and I'm gonna be very honest. I'm gonna be very completely honest. I'm gonna be honest as a motherfucker. I don't want to say that I'm a jealous lover, but I am.
Jealous.
I am very
different.
possessive with what's mine, and I'm very transparent and very open. And there are some people that you deal with that are not as transparent and as open. Right. And so
that makes a difference.
And it's like, I have allowed you into my space. I'm giving you all this. I would expect the same in return. And some people are not going to have a level of honesty with you as you have with them. Like there's some people that you're just like, why do you feel like you have to lie to me? Or why do you feel like you have to tell me these different things or whatever, yada yada, when I've been completely open with you? So naturally, if they're lying about things on the outside, maybe that you might question about what they're doing on their social media. You know, social media is very wide open now.
So why are you with them?
So,
well, I mean that's something that you.
That'd be my thing.
That's something. But if you're before you get to your breaking point, maybe
leading up to it,
maybe that might be just one more thing that you're trying to figure
it out.
It's
just another star in a fucked up crown, and you just gotta let them know. Like,
and they fucked up crown.
Once the fucked up crown is complete, I'm the fuck up out.
Tarnished, baby.
But and as you all know, with relationships, it's never as black as white as I'm just gonna leave. Mm-hmm. It's just usually it's a caveat to that. Well, you know what? They said they're gonna work on it. Let me just see what the hell's going on.
So I have a caveat to that too. So okay, what if Mr. Open over here, Mr. Transparency? So
wait, hold up, nigga. I know this is Battle of the Sex, but damn, don't attack me.
Mr. Transparency.
Mr. Open. Go ahead.
No, okay. So say you or your partner, whoever it is, y'all ask, what's going on, or they're open, off gate. You know what I'm saying? But you or them, they might have a little. Okay. You know how some people are, you can tell them that it's nothing, show them that it's nothing, but they still got in their head that is, I don't know. Mm-hmm. And maybe you start mentioning it more. Like you feel like, okay, they wanted to know and include you, but they still giving you kind of like a wall about it or whatever. How do you maneuver that particular relationship? Because then at that point, what if the person who was being open with you kind of falls back because I was open and you treat me some kind of way for being open? So it's not necessarily lying, but why am I even telling you this shit when I know you're gonna get an attitude or when you're gonna? What's the point? So
I think that's on. I think you have a problem if you have a problem. You have an absolute problem.
Straight up.
If I'm demanding, and I can only speak for me. I love transparency. I love people being open, and I'm not judgmental at all. Like. You're bearing it all out there. Even if we have an issue with each other, I would rather face it head on and we work through it. If someone is willing to meet your demands of being open and being transparent, and the minute they show you themselves undressed, you start whipping the hell out of them for whatever you showed them, then you don't need to be with that person. Because obviously, I can't even be vulnerable, or I can't even show you at my weakest point, or I can't even show you what I'm dealing with before you flip it around to your narrative, what you have going on in your mind. At that point, you're a crazy motherfucker. Mm-hmm. So that's
a card carrying crazy person.
Card carrying crazy person. So that's for me. Nikki, take this. Kelly, take this phone.
Anyone else with the that?
I'm still good with my no.
No, she's no.
Unequivocally.
Right.
No.
I like to believe that I choose people based off like gut feelings, and if I feel that I can't trust you, then we're not gonna deal with each other. So, but if I feel that I can, then we're good here. So,
Coley.
All right. Dating up or down?
We need context.
I feel like it could go any way. Like for me, automatically, I think more dating up as far as monetary, or even dating up as social status, and you could even do dating up as far as just overall lifestyle. Dating up might be someone who might be more social than you are usually, or more outgoing and things like that. That might be considered dating up to somebody. But or dating down, you'd be dating somebody that's completely opposite from you, who doesn't like to go out, doesn't like to do anything, has, I guess, maybe a terrible personality to everyone but you.
Or dating somebody who does not push you.
So when you guys talk about dating up and dating down, we are talking about status and not age, right?
No, we definitely talked about age. Yeah.
I'm talking where you are.
I'm a card-carrying cougar.
Yeah, you are.
I'm a card-carrying cougar.
Above you, or someone that's
not the cobwebs in the pussy. We talking about like.
What?
Okay, I just wanted to be sure there.
Not cobwebs.
Yo, so I think that the interesting part about the whole idea of up and down. So for me, I'm taking the vantage point of when people date down, or when you date someone who you know is not going to push you because you don't want to have to look at yourself. So you deal with someone who is on either whether it be emotionally, social, financial, whatever it is, lower level than you are and or could be. Mm-hmm. Therefore, you do that to not have to deal with the problems of having to grow up. Mm-hmm. And I think that is, and that's not necessarily always age. Because just because you date someone who's younger than you doesn't mean that they aren't in a better space than you are with these different, pieces or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think that people who constantly, we talked about fuckboys before and how they like, or not wanting to date strong women or whatever. That's a situation there where they're like, okay, I'm not going to date a woman who in this particular instance is ahead of me on the spectrum or whatever because she can call me on my bullshit.
Right.
So you avoid that. And that, to me, that's when you get down.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I look at it from a different perspective as far as dating down for me would be someone who has, and this may come off as a little bit shallow, so I'm putting my boost hat right now. I'm playing. You were talking about you being a villain last time. I think if you are in a certain place in your life, like all of us are in a point of our lives where we've made some mistakes, we're working towards being in the careers that we want to be in, or we've achieved them, or making a certain type of money. Dating someone who has not yet found themselves in a career path or found themselves in a certain tax bracket sometimes can be troublesome because you can't upgrade everybody. They might see the fact that you're living a certain type of way or you're moving a certain type of way, and it's like, well, that blunts their drive to want to move forward because they're just like, well, they're going to take care of me. At least me coming from as a man. If I'm dating a chick and let's say she is working on her master's or whatever, yada, yada, and I'm moving up and I'm making $100,000 or something like that, whatever, and I move her in and I'm paying all of her bills, I'm doing all this stuff, I'm taking care of her. But I'm sitting here telling her at the same time, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. Go ahead and, pursue your dream and support you. That may not necessarily always work out in my favor because she could look at, well, I've hit it. I've hit where I need to be at. I got me a good, loving person who is taking care of me. I might not necessarily need to go ahead and get that job that I'm looking for and go from there. At least that's how I feel in some cases.
I think for me, it becomes real, difficult and awkward when you really start to talk about it because, honestly, when you think about dating up or down, I think dating up is always glorified. Everyone's kind of like, oh, let me, learn what I can learn from this person. They might be able to teach me some things. There maybe, usually when you're dating, if someone is dating up, that person's maybe a little older than them, things like that, typically, So you think of what I can learn from them. So that's always glorified. But when you date down, we usually kind of, frown down upon that. But I think in my own perspective, I've been in both situations. I've been in a perspective where I've felt like I've dated down, and as well where I felt like that person I'm dating up. So for them, that person is dating down, because I think I'm dating up. And with that, it's like I think I did learn a lot from them, but I don't know how they really felt in the situation. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, when I've been in that situation where I feel like I was dating down, I almost kind of felt like, I guess kind of similar to what you guys were saying a little earlier, it's kind of like I don't want to relive this again. You're still trying to figure out your career path. Mm-hmm. You're still trying to go through all that. And I feel like I've been at that point in life. I've already done that. I'm past that now, so I don't want to go through that again. But then who am I to say I can't go through that with you when this person that's done it with me has helped me out? You know what I'm saying? So how can I not be that good person to you? So it's kind of like, it's real awkward. I feel bad for it because I kind of feel like dating down, it's like, nah, it's a no-go. But then I've been in that situation and they've helped me out,
Full disclaimer, that 19-year-old high school captain that Miss Nikki dated is somewhere but you know what? I learned a lot along the way.
He was in college. I do not date high schoolers.
It's his first semester.
It was. I don't care.
He was in the summer program.
He was a freshman. I don't care.
He was like, you know what? You right.
He was a summer scholar. He was in the summer program. I graduated high school 3 months ago. I'm in the summer program.
Oh my gosh.
He's in summer break.
Utah sore.
You an orientation counselor?
That hurts, guys. So what about dating up or down, flat out looks?
Oh,
dating someone who is hotter than you, or
I saw something
and you're.
I really liked you, because you ugly and
yeah, because there's like a whole persona of like women going out there and finding dudes that are ugly
because they make a lot of money.
They might make a lot of money, but it also makes them feel better.
I have a real problem with a nigga that's prettier than me.
I do too.
I have no problems except like good looking people. That is what it is. Like that's the thing. I find myself to be good looking. That is what it is by whatever standards I have. But I also know like there's women or men.
They all tend to be a part of the same organization.
wow.
Probably, maybe, but I have a problem with like real pretty dudes. Like, what is your issue right now? Like, why are you this pretty? And I don't like that.
Yes,
so a dude can't take care of himself without being
no,
pretty?
not even that.
No, like you were just.
Context.
Yes,
Caveat. Give me something.
All right, I don't want no nigga
Okay.
whose Instagram
Project.
got 172 pictures. All of him.
Selfies.
Ooh, yes.
No shirt on.
What if it's good
This is
lighting?
me today. I don't give a
What
fuck.
if
Why
he's
are you taking that many goddamn pictures? I
What if he's what's he a trainer?
Right.
He's a trainer.
No.
Because most of them are.
If he
That's what their Instagram says.
I'm a personally trained out pussy, bitch. That's what it is.
If he is, that's different. But if he's not, and you just got like, you
just love the way you look,
right? No, there's a dude that golly, I don't think you ever met him, but like every picture that I see of him out there in the world, he's this whole dapper thing going on, and it's all him. He might be saying something important in his caption, but all you see is him and like 13 other niggas that look just like him, and they just like, me and my niggas like, Black Boy Joy, Black Pride, we out here.
I hate that hashtag.
Coley is posing, guys. If you can't see her posing, but she's literally voguing with nigga poses.
He got a double-breasted blazer on. He just
She's legit hitting all of the gel poses right now. Okay.
Prison pose. That's
yes.
And dudes, they just looking off. They got like a cigar. Like
they doing the most.
Like, why are you doing this? And it's not that they might be
model.
cute, but it's fucking like, no.
But do you intentionally date down? Like, do you go and seek out like ugly niggas?
I don't know. Ugly is very not good. I don't know.
Okay.
If physical attraction is real for me, I'm gonna be honest. That's my boost hat.
Well, we know the shallow pool. The shallow pool runs very large around here.
How can you even call it shallow? Like ugly. Every beauty is objective.
Yes.
Or subjective,
it is.
Excuse me. Whatever
it's
you call
subjective.
it.
It's subjective. Yes.
I personally, if I'm physically attracted for whatever reason, that's what I go on. If I'm not, then we're done here. I may not have anything bad to say about you, but if I'm not physically attracted, I'm not going there.
Okay.
So, and that's first for me.
That's where the gold diggers stem from.
Unless we're in a scenario where we're put together a lot, because you see that too. People are put together in the same spaces, and they end up feeling a certain way, and that's different.
They get to know each other,
right? Mm-hmm. So like I see you
like
in
their
a different light.
personalities.
Yes. So if it happens like that, I understand that, and I don't know that I've actually been there, but I understand where that can happen. So,
well, a lot of those things happen at work. You spend the majority of your time even away from your family at the workplace, and it's just like, you know what, this motherfucker makes me laugh all the fucking time. Ugly is sin, but but I like the way he makes me feel.
Ugly is sin. That's terrible. So, any more comments on that before I pull out our last one?
Don't pull out.
Never pull out.
Always pull out.
Don't wanna.
I was like,
pull out.
Wait.
So Ceci said, "Don't pull out."
Never?
Sorry.
No, you gotta pull out.
Shout out to So Sassy
Don't pull
playlist.
out.
Are we good on that?
I mean,
Dating down.
dating down, dating up, dating ugly, dating fine. Like, I mean, dating is dating. Shit is shit.
I'm not gonna lie. I want to be taken care of at this point. So,
So there it is.
I got a question. So, in terms of wanting to be taken care of, like, because I understand that you get to a point in your life where I'm tired. Like, I've been doing all this shit. I've been holding shit down. I've been doing all this other stuff. And then you get to a point where you're like, I just want to be taken care of. Is it wrong for a man who wants to get taken care of?
Oh, well kept, man.
I think monetarily wise, to an extent, yes, because a lot of times the men that want to be taken care of don't want to get their ass out and work.
See, no. Don't put that
traditional
disclaimer on there.
so
Don't put that disclaimer on there.
Don't do that.
Like,
Don't do
take
that.
the disclaimer
You don't
off
get
of
to be
it
kept.
and say, like, what if I want to be kept? But you know that I'm putting out just as much as you putting out, but you're fucking anesthesiologist making $500,000-$600,000 a year, and I just really want to start my online shopping business. I just want to be able to Amazon shop for people from my house for their house. And I mean, I'm just
okay. For me personally, that's different though, because that's not, you're still pulling your weight in some way, shape, or form. A lot of dudes out here are sleeping on the couch and taking your car.
Is that your fourth business venture?
After they take you to work. You know what I'm saying?
Were you a chef before or an artiste?
No. Don't do that, because there are some people who have an entrepreneurial mindset. and they have told themselves, I'm never working for someone else ever again.
That's bullshit.
Oh.
I mean, my
hope is not a plan.
My mother told me, because I paint and all this good stuff, you can be an artist, but you don't have to be a starving one. And to me, that says, like, just because
Juice got a new book. Juice got a new book. Come on.
It's called Minute Maid.
But like that's real. Like, I'm gonna support you in everything you want to do, but you can't neglect this household just because you have something that you gotta pursue. Like, no, you still gotta hold up your end. I can hold the house down, but you still gonna have to provide in some way, shape, or form. If I'm working and saving lives 28 hours in a day, then when I come home, I'm gonna need you to cook. You know what I'm saying?
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
I need, so here's
the thing. So that to me has to be assumed that the person on the other end of all of this is doing something that is equal or above to what the other person is bringing in monetarily.
But the problem is, most of the time it's assumed, but it don't happen.
But then that also goes back to what you said earlier about love somebody who's more in love with you than you are with them, because they're willing to do more for you than you are having to do for them.
Well, no. Because
Battle me.
So, all right. So, you don't, like you said, I agree with what you said about the loving more and all that stuff. This bullshit on the low. But me saying, okay, I have a great example. My one of my close friends.
Get him, Juice.
Her dude was.
You're on my side.
I know,
was like
upset
at his job, couldn't stand it. They weren't giving him the promotion that he needed, so on and so forth. They had a real conversation about how it was and came to an agreement. She was going to hold it down while he figured something out, because it was fucking him up mentally. So, like, but what he ended up doing, he's Ubering, he's doing that, he's still trying to bring in, like, they worked it out. Like,
I get what you're saying.
We got these bills still. Yeah. So how are we going to solve this particular part while you figure out what you got to do through your life crisis or whatever? I can respect that. That's not really loving more or anything like that. That's a mutual. I understand what you're going through, and I think with relationships, it ain't going to be 50-50 all the time. Sometimes I might have to give 70 when you can only give 30% or whatever, and that's okay as long as that's not what you expect 100%, and you ain't never trying to go above 30, or you trying to skate on the low. No, when I say I want to be taken care of at this point, I'm broke. Like, let's be real. I don't want to be a gold digger, but I've noticed, like, I'm a giver. Mm-hmm. So if I see something is lack and I got the bread, I'm not going to let you go without if you my person at that time. Like, I got you, but I noticed that it's not necessarily reciprocated.
Well, hold on, Juice. Listening to what you're saying, I think there is a difference between someone that's wanting to be taken care of and someone that's out here hustling, doing what they got to do at the same time. Because I heard one of my friends told me this week, she said, I don't have a problem doing what I have to do for the both of us and you working towards whatever your dream is. But if I'm hungry enough for the both of us, then one of us ain't going to eat. That's what she said. So that's what she said. So you might be out here trying to be a rapper or starting that business, but like Juice was saying, are you getting that Uber job? Are you working at that food line or doing whatever to say, hey, look, I'm still doing my part to contribute. And at night,
the fuck out these groceries.
But at night, I'm still working on my dream, but I'm still at least contributing and going from there. So,
but I think that goes with everybody. I think everybody has to pull equal weight in whatever it is that you're bringing to the table. And it also has to have, like you said, that conversation has to be had. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't tell someone, this is what I'm trying to do for these particular reasons, you just like, nah, man, fuck that job. Mm-hmm. Like, your girl's probably like, but my nigga, like, you can't fuck these bills. Like, so you got to do something with it.
Before Miss Nikki speaks, I want y'all to know that Esquire silenced her so gently.
I was not trying to silence her. Look,
it's fine.
It was funny. It was funny. It was funny to watch.
This has been a night of the shushes. He was getting shushed.
The only thing that I was going to add to this, and it wasn't a big deal because it was, yeah. All I was going to say was that I am an educator and I do not make a lot of money, so therefore I cannot support someone. I barely support myself, so I'm not dating the next up and coming rapper. It's not happening because we don't have no money.
I mean, if you want to live,
I would like to be able to pay my bills on time.
Well, I mean, what kind of bills you got?
Enough to where my educator salary is barely cutting it. So I cannot also support you. I'm looking to be taken care of.
All you need to do is get
I'm looking to be taken care of.
I'm just saying, my educator salary.
True that, Miss Nikki, baby. Nobody has time out here in the world except for Esquire because he's Esquire. So he has time to pick and choose how he dates.
If you can see his face right now.
You get real confused when your name get called.
But the rest of us
and
are
Jesus
out
ain't
here.
the one doing it.
The rest of us are out here with real normal ass jobs. And we don't have time for that bullshit.
Nope.
So that's what's up. Good topics. We got one more that I wanted to hit. Our neighborhood family uncle, T.I. Tip Harris, has a podcast. And on that podcast recently, he had one gigolo, Nick Cannon, on there. And Nick Cannon made a statement. This is for context. Nick Cannon made a statement saying that he thought that marriage was designed for women. And he and T.I. proceeded to have a conversation about what that statement means. Marriage is designed for women, and why Nick Cannon would never be married again after being married to Mariah Carey, and the pressures of being married and how that's not realistic and how you can't deal with that, and all his issues that he had with being married and why he won't do it and why he thinks it's thing for women. Do you have something else you need to add? Did I miss that in
That was right on the money. It's great.
Okay. So that is our final topic. Is marriage a thing or an idea that was designed for women? And if not, why? Or whatever.
So...
The married nigga.
The married man in the room.
So my thing is it's bigger than rap. So it's bigger than this particular topic, right? It is. That's what niggas say. I don't rap, so I don't know. Boost.
Why me?
You went to HBCU. I assume you rap. HBCU. You guys all rap before you got to college. That's how you got in.
Maybe so. Maybe he rap.
Exactly. So
I do rap a little bit. So
see, my point exactly, niggas. I rap and I style. So for me, I think that it's bigger than just this particular question in terms of marriage, because I think there are a lot of social things that have been folded into the idea of gender roles. So, for instance, women from a very, very young age are taught that they are to be good mothers and good wives. Men from a young age are taught you need to provide, not necessarily for a particular person, not necessarily for your family, but you need to be a provider. That's just what it is. And when you think about a marriage is a partnership when two people are coming together. And all of these things happen within a marriage. However, when you think... Bless you, minute, mate. When it all comes together, you think about how all the different like pressures come at you differently. So for a man, the pressures are very, very different than the pressures for a woman. Because if you're not married by 30 some odd years old, people are asking you why. If I'm not married by 30 some odd years old, people are like, oh yeah, bro, I know you a bachelor out here enjoying your life. When in actuality, it's both for both sides. And I think that is the bigger topic is not necessarily does marriage belong for guys or for girls, women or for men, whatever. It's more so it's just so much more to that than just that particular question. And I'm just going to start by saying that, and I want to fade into black.
No, I agree. I do think that marriage overall, or at least what we kind of have been conditioned and what we learned over all the years, does make it more like of a win, or it's ideal for women as opposed to it being men. And the reason why I say that is because even outside of the American culture, I actually have a friend of mine that I know from a previous job, and she is from Israel, and
African.
Yeah, so technically she is. So, but and within that though, the whole culture and everything with her dynamic at the time when we were working the same job, she was roughly about 23, and they were basically saying that it was kind of late. Like her family was really pressuring her into like this whole marriage situation, like trying to like basically almost like assign a marriage to her, had her meeting with guys and whatnot. And she was really like about 23 years old. For us, you know, it's old, but it's not old. You're really young. And her parents, I guess what she had told me was the fact that she was over 18. So it was like a big deal. Like I'm past the age of 18 and I'm not married. I don't have any kids. Like it was almost like disrespect to her family. So again, I kind of feel like at the same time though, the guy that which again, she's married now. So the guy that she ended up marrying, he had been with multiple girls. So yeah, she had been lying about being a virgin, but yeah, it was okay for him to have had multiple partners, which was out. I mean, all the families knew about the guys. I mean, the girls that he had slept with, and even furthermore, even moving into it, she was about 23 and he was almost pushing 30. So it wasn't like he was a disrespect to his family, but yet again, she was dishonoring her family or not living up to what their standards were. So again, I feel like even outside of American culture, it definitely is more of, I guess you would say, like an asset or a benefit for the woman to be married. Where when again, they don't groom us, like how Naji was saying, they don't groom the men to feel the same way. They do kind of raise women to feel like you need to be this wife or be raised to be this wife, when as a man, it's just really being a provider, and that provider can be just for yourself, and that's okay.
Yep.
You
Those
know,
cultural expectations fall all over the board. Every nation, religion, whatever. I don't know one nation, religion, country, or whatever that says we want our women to have the exact same experience that we want our men to have, ever. And I think that that's the biggest problem, because then when you look at marriage, you look at the men and it's like, okay, you're cool if you're not married, have fun. But shame on you, dishonor on your cow, and it's just like, how you gonna put this on everybody else?
right.
Well, I'm gonna jump in a little bit, and I'm gonna look at it from a different point of view. I think you're right. From a just
Here we come.
That's it.
Here we come.
My new book is coming out. Different point of view. I think from like you said, from a societal standpoint, it is more beneficial for a woman for marriage. But I think more so from a transactional standpoint, it's beneficial for a man. Think about it, back in the days, a man used to be able to marry a woman and be entitled to her father's dowry or whatever her inheritance is, and go from there.
Just bring a cow.
Bring it in. I think in this day and age, when it comes to benefits, when it comes to taxes that you may have to file, when it comes to even someone testifying against you in a criminal case, all this kind of stuff, there is a benefit to being married.
Yeah,
There is a benefit to being married. There are certain things that you can do, especially when you pass away, certain things that you can ensure for your family and your legacy that you have by having a wife instead of
is that what men gain for being married?
I'm just looking at it on the other side. I'm looking at it on the other side. So I just think that transactionally, men can gain a lot from being married, but from a standpoint of, we're finally sealing the deal to this fairy tale life that we want to have. And then there's some guys that just out there that look at the goal of, I want to be married, I want to have kids. Like, that's how I've been raised. Like, I see my parents have been together, and I want to find that one girl who will bear me these children, or if we decide to have children, or I want to spend the rest of my life with, and I would just want to show the world by marrying her, and that gives something to me as well.
And even on the other side, I didn't see my parents have that, so I want to be able to have that for myself. Like, personally, that's a thing for me. Like, I've always wanted to make sure that I'm able to have a wife, kids, and the whole nine, but that's not common from my understanding. Like, I talk to my niggas all the time, and if we didn't get married by a certain point in our life, none of us would have given a shit at all. But when you talk to females, on the other hand, a lot of times they feel the pressure of not being married.
I mean, I've been a maid of honor thrice, so it's an interesting place to be in when people are popping up, getting married, doing the thing, and the weddings that I've been a part of, the weddings that I've seen, I wouldn't say that it was a thing where the women were gaining, or it looked like it was a thing for just for them, where it was like a one-sided weird thing. But I do know for a couple of them, at least one definitely, the marriage happened because that was what was expected. I should marry her, obviously. Yes, I should. That makes sense. I should do that. So when you see those kinds of things, it's kind of hard to disagree with a statement like that, but at the same time, when you're with someone and you love them and you care about them, then is that not the next step? I guess it feels like, why is a statement like that made when there are plenty of people who feel like Naji feels, or feel like Esquire feels? Like, marriage seems like a nice idea.
I think that marriage also, for a lot of people, is checking the box. And historically speaking, and this may not apply to all of you, women are taught to check the boxes. Did you get the man? Did you get the ring? Did you get the house? Did you get the kids? Men aren't taught to check the boxes. So if marriage is something that you're just checking off the list, then of course it's going to be more beneficial to women because that's just what it's ingrained for you guys, quote unquote, historically.
Well, I'm gonna push back on that just a little bit.
Push.
Praying that something happens. My parents are divorced, but yet both of them continuously ask me about marriage and kids and when that's going to happen. I think
don't want no grandchild out of wedlock.
Well, I mean, no, I don't know if it's necessarily about my mother will take a grandchild out of wedlock.
Oh, she desperate now.
At this point, she will.
But it's the baby that Esquire and I are not having with my last name.
But both of them.
Oh God! Season 1 shout out.
Exactly. But my parents have both been married, so I think they understand the value of marriage and having kids and stuff. And so it's natural that you would want that name to be carried on. And and that might be a benefit as well. You're marrying someone and your name is going to be carried on. Because if you have a kid out of wedlock...
You have to marry her to carry your name. You hear that?
Ooh. No.
Season 1 shout out.
No. I was about to say a scornful woman could easily be like, well, I wanted to have my daddy last day, and my daddy said that we ain't married, we ain't doing it. And so, I don't know. I think for me, it's just like there is a benefit there personally for you to be able to do that as a man. But I personally think there's levels to this thing. So if you're dating, you're pursuing this woman that you want, your benefit is you are gaining a good woman. Her benefit is you are sealing this in and showing me that you actually do want to be with me for the rest of my life. So you are officiating this before God, putting a ring on it, and sealing this in. And then the benefit afterward for both is living your lives together and having kids or whatever, yada, yada.
So then why then are niggas so, like, uncomfortable with that, like, solidifying it, like, making it a known thing? And I say niggas in general because what I hear as a single woman is that a lot of men are like, I mean, but I'm with you, right? Like, I'm here, we in this thing, we good. Like, I got you, you got me, we living together, we doing this, we doing that. Like, why do we gotta, mess up a good thing? Why do we gotta, change what's happening? And it's like, that's not the point.
I think it's the idea of what they feel like they're going to be giving up by committing themselves to one person. Almost like that same argument, well, I don't go to church like that because I can't continue to have fun if I'm still trying to live a saved life. It's like, well, I was having fun out here in these streets and doing whatever, yada yada. I was hanging out with my niggas or dating all these different women, and now you trying to tell me I got to be committed to I'm being locked in to just one thing, and there's all these rules that I have to follow. And maybe Naji can speak to that a little bit better because I am not married, but I'm just on the outside looking in, saying, I would think your life has to change a little bit, but maybe
it doesn't.
But maybe people think that their lives are going to change drastically.
They do think that, but the problem is, like, let's be very, very clear. Before I got married, wasn't nobody checking for me. Like, wasn't nobody beating down my door or hitting my phone like, ooh, you free tonight? Niggas didn't give a shit about me. So when I got married, niggas still didn't give a shit about me. There was nobody popping about the woodwork like, oh my God, you got away. No one. Like, no one gave a fuck.
I enjoy this voice.
Because nobody cared. And I think that niggas feel like, oh my goodness,
Somebody
if I
cares.
get married, I'm not going to have the opportunity.
They coming for me.
To be with that one person who might think that maybe one day she could possibly be with me.
What is this voice?
Nobody gives a fuck about you. Truth be told, if some chick is after you, you're gonna know she's after you, and that's just point blank and period. If they're not, you're gonna know that as well. So the idea that I am no longer able to, I'm no longer able to do X, Y, and Z thing because I'm married is not. It's just not real.
Yes, I agree. I kind of feel like I'm having a quick moment of
Of clarity?
Y'all, I just want to interject. Esquire just say my whole.
Why did it end up having to be a whole thing? Like,
I thought we were gonna just run through it, be cool,
right, and be done.
Gonna start video.
Big ass bugs out from outside, like on her boob.
It was an outside bug inside the house.
We'll start videoing our sessions so y'all can see what the hell we go through.
Foolery.
When we go through, because it gets real crazy.
What were you saying, Booze?
No,
honestly, and I was gonna say, I hope all the men out there listening to me don't hate me for this. I'm ready to hate it. Most hated.
Here we go.
Right. I feel like I might have a quick moment of a quick Steve Harvey moment.
What?
But yeah.
Put your mustache on when you say it.
I honestly, I think that the whole fear that men have in that is truly that fear of the commitment. Truly, I mean, because again, us as black men, we don't cheat. We know that, but those other men out there, the ones that are out there cheating and that do like their options, it's just the fact of knowing I'm going to a full commitment. Is the fact that there should be no options available. It is truly about you. Although it should have been about you before we got to this, but now once I make that vow, it really should be about you. So the fact that I have no more options and not even the freedom of even having options because I'm a man, and I even just to know that I don't even have any options, I think that's what scares them, because again, it could be a lot of guys out here that have never cheated on a girl in a day in their life, but yet when you talk about marriage, it's kind of like now he's biting his nails, but you don't cheat on your girlfriend now, so what's the problem?
I think it also could be more about what their experiences is with marriage. And that's much deeper than just the idea of not having options. Because if you don't have a good understanding of what because truth be told, for everybody who don't know, marriage is whatever the fuck you make it. So your marriage can be completely great because y'all like each other. Y'all, and I shout out Minute Maid, and that's just how this whole thing goes. And it's not necessarily like you gotta follow this particular rubric and get graded or whatever. It's like you make it what you want to make it. And I think that people don't recognize that. So guys specifically are like, yo, I can't get married because if I get married, I don't know if I'm not gonna be able to do what I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do. It's like that doesn't make any fucking sense. Because if you feel strong enough for a person, you'll be willing to be uncomfortable and be vulnerable with them in order to get to where you guys need to get to as a collective. And I think sometimes for guys, marriage is that vulnerable space that they're afraid to be in.
And that's true. So instead of being vulnerable, they demonize us for wanting it. That's what happens.
You try to pressure me.
Well, yeah, that's what they make it seem like. It's like, not like you want what I want. And I think we talked about that. It's like, it's not that you don't want what I want. It's that you don't want to admit that you want it. So you throw it off on me and you make me feel like I'm crazy for wanting something that's practically normal at this point. So.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
I have two, but let's just start with this one. As a woman, and as a man too, with going back to what Coley said earlier about old boy saying, well, I should marry her. You know what I'm saying? Like, almost on that, well, she's been through me. I think that meme of Gucci, and they were talking about how Keisha K.R. stuck with him.
She was stuck with him through
when he
all
was
of
like
Snoop said that bullshit,
and all this other stuff, and Snoop Dogg was like, and you bitches want to leave like when you have an argument or something like that.
Yeah.
How do y'all feel about proposing? Because, well, I guess at this point she stayed long enough, so I should just propose to her because that's what she wants.
I propose out of obligation.
Okay.
There's nothing that's going to obligate me to propose to except for my love for you. And other than that, no.
Just wondering. Because I personally don't want if a dude
I would
proposed
never
to me
want
like that,
no, hell
I would
no.
just be like, nah, bro. We
together
would
10
actually
years,
probably
might as well
break
do it.
up. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Because you got a Keisha K.R., Shantae Brodus, a Tiny Harris, Ice Cube's wife, all these women that have stuck with these niggas who have openly shamed them. But they are, according to that IG post that Snoop made, they're praised out here. Y'all women be ready to leave a nigga because he walk outside real quick. And I'm like, that's not that simple. These are one-off situations, Snoop. And I don't know those women, and I wouldn't. Every woman ain't with a T.I. Okay, now granted, is T.I. He's super talented, yes, but he's also a fucking asshole. But every woman is not with
a cheater.
A T.I. every woman's not with a Snoop Dogg. So like these ordinary niggas out here trying to say the same shit. No, nigga, that's not niggas. You ordinary
basic.
I'm dating down right now, dealing with your ass, and you trying to act up and not marry me. So like, bro, like don't act like that. Like you're not.
But see, the thing about that's the same thing I was talking about with how society like puts women in boxes to a degree. I think I'm a baby feminist. I don't fucking know because it's like you think,
be a feminist.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is because
full blown.
Think about it. If a dude leaves a girl because she cheated on him, then everything is great. Even if she goes to jail and the dude leaves, no one's gonna be like, "Oh man, you ain't stick with old girl." You don't get praised as a man for staying with a woman because she goes through X, Y, and Z. But for whatever reason, as a woman, you get praised for sticking with a man who puts you through bullshit. And I don't think that's fair. Because if somebody was cheating on my sister, treating her law conscious, leave that motherfucker. Well, I will help you pack.
Pause. We only get praised for that from other ain't shit men.
Yes.
Other women will do. But here's the caveat to that is like other women will make you feel stupid because you're accepting it, and it's a catch-22 there because if you a catch-22, so it's like if you're in love with somebody, if you in your head, I'll say that, are in love with somebody, it will make you stay through some
love
dumb
crazy
shit.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily make you a fucking idiot either.
Yeah, no,
like you have to different people decide to pick different battles. Hell, if I was with Tip or Snoop in my house like that, hell, I might just stay in that bitch too. I don't fucking care. I stayed with broke niggas for less. You know what I'm saying? So
that is the realest thing.
No, but with that being
said, for real.
With that being said, I think I chime in where Juice comes in at because again, like her saying that she stayed with broke niggas for less. I think it comes from me. I come from a situation where I was raised by like a single mother. You know what I mean? For most of my life, my mother is married now and she's been married for years, but majority of raising me, she was single. So I saw exactly. So shout out to my moms, out there, doing what she had to do. But again, I seen her out there, going through the different situations, being dated with men or dating men, and unfortunately being cheated on, and things don't always work out the best of that. So for me, I think I've always saw it like a, now you don't deserve that, or women don't deserve that in general. She kind of always had like instilled in me to want to be like that great guy, I guess you say, the real chivalrous man, because she wasn't always receiving that. So it's like, since I don't have any daughters, I'm going to raise my men to be those stand-up guys because I'm not getting that. So for me as an adult now...
You not? I'm just wondering, respectfully. Like,
I was going to say, in my defense and in Mama Boo's defense, I am a very chivalrous man.
If the weave is right.
It's just...
And the makeup is
I was going to say, it's just situations in life will change how you feel. And, things, well, exactly. Situations will arise, and you got to adjust and adapt to life.
I'm sorry.
But typically, I was raised to be that type of guy, and I genuinely am that type of guy. I would love to open doors for women and be that type of guy. But I also went through a whole point of life where it was like girls didn't want that. I went through the whole thing where I had to call my mother one day, like, "Mom, you raised me to be this nice guy." And girls don't want that shit. They want the niggas gonna choke them and cheat on them.
Whoa.
Because that's what was going on. Because that was the thing. I swear. That was a moment in time.
During penetration.
That was exactly.
You gotta be clear.
Choking during penetration. And cheating on them. And then taking their car. And all of that. Like girls, it was a moment where girls wanted that. And I was not that guy. And I had to call my mom, like, "Mom, you raised me to be this guy. And it's not working out for me.
I ain't no bitch, huh?"
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I adjusted, and now life is how it is.
My fault. Sorry, guys.
I live uptown
y'all
now.
Look at women as weak for staying.
That's fantastic.
I look at them as going through their own growth because I've stayed with some chicks that I know good and goddamn well I should have left from the beginning, but I stayed from my own where I was in my life. So I'm not gonna judge you. Like we were talking about with Ye the other week. You can't judge anybody's journey or where their heart is, and you can assess it and say that doesn't line up with my life. But I'm not going to judge you and say, "Oh yeah, you ain't shit because of X, Y, and Z." Depending on there are certain things that fall into that you ain't shit bucket. And I don't care what you say, but when it comes to something like that, I'm not going to judge you for staying. Like you have to come to terms with what you're going through when you come to terms with it.
Yeah, I don't think I find them weak for staying in those type of situations. I truly just think I find it sad that they can't really see their true self-worth, to be quite honest. You know what I mean? Because, again, not that you don't see any self-worth in yourself, but you don't see your full potential and self-worth because, again, you're dealing with that and you don't really need to. And then when they finally do jump up out of that, then it's like, okay, I'm proud for her, you know?
Well, and then at the same time, you know, what we might consider something that would be egregious or you need to leave that nigga over for might be something that they don't even care about. Like, they might not want to throw away a whole 20-year relationship off somebody that cheated one time. And you look at that like, you weak, you need to stay, you need to get up out of there. Why are you staying? They might look at the bigger picture and say, hey, look, there was a moment, I'm sticking behind, we're going to work through it, and we'll go from there. Now, I ain't going to lie, I will judge a little bit. If he's in there beating and slapping on you for a while, and it's just like, I'm not going to sit here and just say, well, you know, she's just trying to find her way. It's going to be like,
emotional abuse has a different like effect on your mind. So it's very, very different than like, oh, somebody's cheating on me and I'm just staying. I think there's like a little bit. I think those are a lot of bit different actually. But to your point, like it's hard to not see someone doing something polar opposite to what you believe in and to not initially have that judgment that goes off in your head. We all have that. Now, what you do with said judgment is I think what makes or breaks relationships.
Exactly.
So basically, men should not take what they see other niggas do with marriage. Ooh, they should form their own opinions.
Yes.
Oh, everybody should, men and women.
About marriage.
Niggas, bitches, and hoes, everybody.
And not decide, I'm not going to do this because I'm losing if I do this.
Well, here's the thing. I think they just need to stay true to themselves because I don't give a damn what anybody say. They say the whole birds of a feather flock together, but I honestly believe that nigga, if that nigga know he wants to be married, he might be on the outside trying to say, that ain't for me, that ain't for me. You present that nigga, you present that nigga with the right situation, he is going to jump on that bandwagon real quick. So, I
will say that about men. Men, and it takes a long time, I think, for women to learn that. But a man will do exactly what he wants to do when he wants to do it, and it's a good and a bad thing for women depending on what your situation is. But that is true about men. So if it's a question of whether marriage is for us or for them, just know that a man will do what he wants to do when he wants to do it, and it may not be you. And that is what it is.
It may not
and that's the issue. Right. That's the thing. That's the thing you got to understand.
That's the bigger problem.
But that is what it is, though. Yeah. And when you can see that, then that's where you can decide how you bob and weave in that situation, knowing that men will do what they want to do when they want to do it.
Wait a minute, Coley. Are you trying to say that when it comes to marriage, are you trying to say that you may not necessarily be that benefit for that man if he does decide to marry?
Oh, no, really, I was trying to put a ribbon on it.
I was trying to be deep.
But we could go down a rabbit hole with that bullshit. And this rabbit hole.
You might not be his benefit.
That's what I thought you were trying to say.
No.
Right.
He gonna choose somebody.
Right.
It just might not be you.
It might not be you.
But is that a thing though? Because I've often heard it from other men who've come on to me like, oh, y'all been together such and such amount of time. Well, if he ain't put a ring on you yet, then
that's also a line.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's an easy way to get. So I heard someone talking about this on a podcast, and they were talking about basically like fuckboy pickup lines that you use to say the perfect thing to the person because you know they're vulnerable. It's it's disgusting, but it's the truth. And it's like, yo, she been with this nigga for 10 years. I'm trying to beat, so I'm just gonna be like, hey, yo, he ain't wiped you up yet. What's wrong with him? You know what I'm saying? And then you're like, oh my god, like he should have wiped me up. You feel me? And then you're like, you know
these
what?
New York accents, though.
Yo, he should have wiped me up. You feel me? He ain't wiped me up. Let me just fuck you. Like, and then he disappears. Like, I can't stand niggas. They treat me like shit. It's
right.
like, I mean, you
niggas saying shit.
Fuck nigga, that's a fuck nigga Hall of Fame move.
Not Hall of Fame.
Damn.
It is.
And on that note,
right. That's solid. That's real good shit, y'all. Battle of the Sexes, round table, red room, Rumble Royale. Esquire has snatched the mic. Do you have something else?
Say that 3 times.
I have snatched the mic. First off, I just want to say thank you so much for all of our guests that have stopped by through this whole Battle of the Sexes experience. We have Juice, Boost, Miss Nikki Baby,
shout out Jarvis,
Mila Me. We appreciate y'all for giving everything that you have, true, unfiltered opinions to this, and just making this like a blast to do.
Yes, Battle of the Sexes has been fun. We appreciate y'all for participating. We rolling out of this bullshit.
I'm tired of this fucking conversation.
Y'all shout out where we can find you, our special guests. Boost, what you got for the people?
Absolutely. Definitely thank you guys again for having me. You can definitely check me on Instagram. It is Fashion Boost Official. It's the way it sounds. So Fashion, BOOS, like Lil Boosie. No killer, no rapper, except for sometimes.
Wow.
Official. Or you can check me out on
gifts.
I mean, Lil Boosie, that's my man's though. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Lil Boosie. And then, or you can check me on the Jet Endeavor page, and that is Jet X Dever. Yes, that is JET, the letter X, DEAVOR.
Come get your fits.
You're gonna be all up in the DMs.
Juice, what you got for
Please
us?
be all up in the DMs.
Bye, y'all. I'm Juice. Stay tuned because I'm starting one of these little podcasts myself. It'll be called The Bread Isle, ISLE, to be specific with it. And I'll see y'all soon in December.
Miss Nikki, baby, what you got for us?
I am on a podcast with 2 other niggas that are fools. The Kickin' Shit podcast. We record pop culture and we talk about black culture and it's infotainment, as we like to call it. We have new episodes every Monday, so we got current episodes going out right now, episode 76, so check that out. Otherwise you can find me at Miss New Bougie or Kickin' Shit Pod on Instagram.
Can you spell bougie? Because I don't know how to spell bougie.
So bougie is spelled many different ways. It's very much what you prefer, and I prefer the root of bourgeois, and BOURGIE.
Oh, Bergie. Miss New Bergie. It's Bergie. Bergie. And Boogie.
I will take that one over boogie or boogie, or I'm okay with the R. The R's there, it's been there, it's staying. It's not going nowhere.
Street niggas that y'all wanted from the beginning of this podcast.
Thank you all very much for being here and participating with this foolishness every other week. We appreciate you. Shout out to our playlist that dropped earlier today. Find Your Note, number 5. It's out there in the world. We just had an episode drop last Saturday. Let the church say yay, man. By the time you hear this, it will be Saturday. So hope you're enjoying your weekend going into Halloween, unless you out at JCSU's homecoming.
Shout out to all the JCSU listeners out there. Yay.
So if that's what you're doing,
and now you come back with
Smithite, JCSU.
Edit point.
When y'all are recovering on Monday morning, check us out. Check out the Kickin' Shit Pod on Monday.
Yes, Monday.
When y'all are recovering from your weekends at JCSU. This your girl Coley. I'm out here with Juice.
Bye again.
I'm out here with Esquire. Miss Nikki, baby.
Goodbye.
Naji, baby. Boost.
JC.
This is Nights at the Brown. So be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. This is Coley. We out of here. Ow! Ow!